since this being the last session with Fry, so we're thinking in doing small talk about the game mechanics against versus story and art direction related to game mechanics, and then say like a final review on the advance you guys have on the game. Sounds good.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, Bryce. So I'll leave you to it. I'm gonna be muted.
Okay. So, is there something specific you would like me to speak to about art direction versus game mechanics, or should I just like talk generally?
I think like it's more generally. So like one thing that's always happened, and I think you saw that from the beginning, is that when they got the story and all the art before the mechanics. So I think that's an important point that every developer felt like makes that sort of mistake at the beginning.
Yes, I agree. I actually, yes, and they're kind of this, like, as Luis is kind of framing it, they're kind of the same mistake. I'm just gonna post some notes into the chat window. Or I'm gonna try to. Is there something I wrote real quickly? Basically, like when it comes to art direction, one of the things we found, especially like on Drive Me Bananas, was that we started working on some of the final looking art a little like too early, and what ended up happening was that art wasn't really working to serve the mechanics. When you're making a game, you should always focus on your core mechanic first and get that fun really before you do any of the art. I mean, you can, I guess, do some art, but it should be really rough, really crude, and it should just be placeholder. And you should always know that it's placeholder, because what's going to happen is if you start doing like pretty art too early, it's going to start working against your mechanics, or you're going to start designing your mechanics around the art, and so you're going to hurt yourself. So that happened to us. One thing, if you look at some games that are in our space, the same space as Drive Me Bananas, some of the competitive games, they do a good job of leading the eye of the viewer, I think, to where they should be on screen, what the designers want you to look at on screen. And some of our art on Drive Me Bananas did not do that, and it was a little too busy. Even though the art was very pretty, it's a very beautiful game, I think that some of the art is a little distracting, and we weren't, because we did the art earlier before we got our mechanics finished. So that was definitely something that we ran into. And I think the same thing kind of goes for story. Like when you're writing your story, there's a concept stage, and I think that's the stage you guys are still in with your game. And you don't want to start writing story right now. You want to focus really entirely on what your player and your characters, what they do. Just focus on what they do as you're developing the mechanics, and then when you get to the elaboration stage, that's what I call it. That's when you start adding more details to the game. Once you've got your mechanics really figured out, then you can start writing the story. Once you have a better idea of what your players will do. But right now, I think you want to get the mechanics worked out first before you start writing story.
Okay.
Yeah. How's that sound?
Very good, but in this moment we have that problem because our mechanics are not ready yet.
Your mechanics aren't ready yet?
No. We in this morning we actually was testing the mechanics, doing some interviews, and the people say what they think about the game and the gaming mechanics, but almost all of them, they feel the game very frustrating, very hard to play, very hard to enjoy. So in this moment I think we're going to change some things in the mechanics.
Okay. Is the game frustrating to play because the mechanics aren't developed enough, or is it just that the mechanics aren't the right mechanics?
The the developer, because I don't know. We design um, a pipeline for the mechanics and strategic mechanics, right? Okay, for the game, but they still need more work, I think. I don't know yet if that can solve the problems, the fun and the enjoy for the game.
Okay. Well, I definitely think so. What's your plan to get the mechanics figured out?
Sorry, can you repeat me that, please?
So what are you gonna do as far as the mechanics go? What are you gonna do next? Are you just gonna keep polishing them, or?
No, I think we're going to redesign the mechanics. Maybe do a better does a better work with that mechanics, improve them.
Okay. And your mechanics are primarily is it touchscreen? Do you swipe when because you're moving a player through a maze, right?
Right, but in this moment the mechanic is simple. You touch some place in the some sun in the window in the screen, and that touch makes force, gravity force. So the main character will be attracted by this touch point. So you can move in that way. You can move the character. But in this moment, that touch don't feels natural, don't feels good. I don't know if you can understand me.
Are you looking at the video?
I think I'm looking at the video. Is that the game?
That's a test.
Okay.
Well, Andres is saying that they realize that the users use the gyroscope. Let me see.
Oh, they want to use the gyroscope. They want to tilt the device.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Huh.
I think I don't know. That's my perception. Is that mainly because it feels a little bit like from the gravity. You kind of think that if you move it, that you have a real life sense as a person, as a human. I don't know. Because it's like gravity based, you know, like the character goes through like to the rocks as they have gravity.
Okay. Hmm. Okay, so you're just touching the screen and.
Listo.
Hmm. So is it
Siete, cinco.
so what's the challenge? Is it just is it to not hit the rocks?
475 7.
¿Verdad?
Sí.
Me pregunto que cuál es cuál es el
sí,
reto.
sí, lo escuché. Pues, o sea, es que hay un pequeño problema incluso interno, o sea, que es lo que yo estoy leyendo con Andrés en este momento. Es que como tal el perfil que teníamos de diseñador de videojuegos no se ha ausentado, ya, por problemas personales. Entonces Andrés y yo hemos tenido que apropiarnos de esa parte. Entonces, como entramos a diseñar las mecánicas, los objetivos del juego pues están en proceso. Ya, para este caso, pues lo que estamos pensando es que el personaje tenga que recolectar unos objetos ya a lo largo de los diferentes niveles. Y esquivando, o sea, esquivando cosas negativas que frenan el ritmo del juego, pero cogiendo cosas positivas. Sí, no sé si me explico. Ya, porque el personaje sería del tipo de recolección, o sea...
I was muted, sorry.
Gracias, Domingo.
Damn it. So no, so we're saying is that the idea is you avoid so you have to pick up like positive items, avoiding the rocks on the level. But they're not sure what the challenge is right now, what the obstacles are. I think
Yeah.
It's just missing a little bit of context, maybe.
Okay. Hmm. I I
But
think once they have a challenge, maybe that'll make it. Maybe that's part of the frustration that people have right now.
yeah,
You know, it's not entirely that it doesn't just feel good. I think they don't know why they're doing it. Um, so I think that maybe if you create a challenge for them, then it'll at least why they're interacting with the device and will start to make a little more sense. And I think that it might even, that'll be part of what might guide you toward the correct mechanics. Maybe you'll realize, maybe touch doesn't work because, having your finger on the screen gets in the way of seeing something. Um,
yes,
maybe they want you'll want to tilt, use the gyroscope because of the types of challenges that you create. So I think that like getting it seems like you just have one mechanic right now. It seems like you probably, I mean, you can have a game, of course, with just one mechanic, but you probably want to but you need a challenge. Until you get your challenges in place, you can't say this mechanic's either good or bad. It doesn't really have a purpose yet.
yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
So, mm, I don't know, Bryce. Do you have any process or method, method to do to make that the game, o sea, for the game design? I don't know if in the test process, in the testing of the sample mechanics.
I think that as far as my personal process goes, I think that I think of um, I think you have to think about the challenge at the same time as you're thinking about the mechanics. You have to think about what you ultimately want the player to do, and you have to also think about the feeling you want the player to have. Um, and so I think that I mean, clearly fun is what you want, and I can tell from your game that's what you want them to have. But I think you have to think about, okay, what's going to be fun about this game? And as I look at your game, I mean, I don't want to design it for you necessarily, but I want to ask you guys, what do you think is fun? What were you hoping to achieve with this? Um, is it about is it feeling uh, I guess I don't know, like a fast-paced game? Is it supposed to feel like something just kind of like easy and relaxing to do? Uh, like I guess I start to think about games that I like to play when I design games and the kind of challenges that exist in those games. When I was thinking about the initial mechanics for Drive Me Bananas, when at least Luis and I first started working on it, it was about avoiding things.
Yes.
So that was the first mechanic was like, oh, we actually thought about, I think I told you guys already, is that we started like what kinds of things, what kind of mechanics could you make for the iPad? And one of the first things, we thought or talked about was, swiping things and moving things and making them avoid things. So we had this very simple little prototype, which was a triangle moving through a field of X's, and it was just avoiding all the X's. So we're just moving the triangle back and forth, trying not to hit the X's. So that was the challenge, and so we're kind of like, oh, we like that. And then we just kind of went from there. Like basically, the game developed around this idea of not hitting an obstacle,
Okay.
and just moving in a straight line, not hitting obstacles. So I think that to me, that's a game, right? A game is really like a challenge. It's thing you're trying to accomplish, and I think that that's where you start. Is you start on what do I want to accomplish, and what's fun to try to accomplish, you know. So you can start. You can think of
Uh, I can't hear you guys. Uh,
Hello? Hello?
hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, now
Okay, I had to refresh. I don't know what happened. My microphone just went dead. I could still hear
yes.
you, but you couldn't hear me.
Sometimes sometimes
Yeah.
that appears.
So did you hear the part I said about the challenge?
The first part.
Okay, so I did you hear what I said about the beginning of Drive Me Bananas when we first started out with the triangle and the X's?
Yes.
Okay. So then after that I said that basically I think that your next step is to figure out what's going to be a fun challenge for your game, and maybe look at games like your game that are in the same space, and try to figure out what you can borrow from other games or do differently than those other games. Like when I look at your game, I feel like um, I don't know. I feel like I want to, I know you want Gravity to be a mechanic. I kind of think I'd like to see like a booster rocket or something like that, like some sort of jetpack, you know, um, or maybe the character uses like little tractor beam or a cable or something like that to attach to asteroids, or the rocks, and so he can kind of sling himself around or whip himself around or something like that. I think, I try to think of like what would be fun to be able to do. Like think about it like this is a toy, and you're giving it to a kid. What would a kid want to do with a toy? So like what do kids like? I have two sons, and I always think about when I design games. I think what would my sons like to play with? Like I watched him play games on my iPad all the time. So I try to think of what would a child, what if I was a boy, what would I want to play with? So I think about, it'd be rockets or, bombs or,
Yes.
like using a cable to swing around or something like that. So I try to think of things like that. Um, things that seem like they might be fun, and start there. So like with what you guys have so far, there's definitely things you could do. It's already kind of it's interesting. But there's no challenge yet, right? So I mean, you could just keep going with what you have. Like maybe you're just like avoiding the rocks, and maybe you're tilting, using the accelerometer to avoid the rocks. But I think it could be even, more, you know, cool if their character could do something. I don't know what your plan was to have the character do, but I feel like do something, and then like ultimately it seems like your main challenge is about avoiding the boulders or the asteroids. So then like what should your character do to avoid the asteroids? Maybe that there should be some sort of action that your character does, other than just moving it around with your the touchscreen.
Yes. And Bryce, what do you think about have a game with a space character, and this space character is like Wally. Do you remember that movie
The
from
robot?
Pixar?
Yeah,
Yeah, the robot.
yeah.
He is a recollector and collectionist. No sé si se dice así. Collectionist. I don't know if the correct the correct word for that.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and he finders and he keepers the things, finder and keeper,
Yeah.
and he's I don't know, it's amazing that concept for that personal for that for that characters, and I don't know, I think this game or game. Uh, in that way, a main character, maybe with a second character, maybe a friend, maybe I don't know. Yes, I think a friend or maybe antagonist. These two characters are like Tomb Raider and Wally, a mix of the characters, and they travel. Along of the space, and they find things and they keep it. And these things have prices, have a value for the game. Like I don't know if you know Tiny Thief from Robio Stars.
Tiny what?
Tiny Thief, pequeño ladrón, Tiny
Um,
Thief, Tiny Thief.
can you type it into the chat?
Yes, let me a second.
Oh, Tiny
Andres,
Thief.
Tiny, yeah, Tiny Thief. Sorry for my bad English. Tiny Thief. Thief? Who do you say thief? Thief? Hello, can you hear me?
No.
Something. Oh, sorry. Thief, thief,
Thief? ¿Cómo se-
like a ladrón.
Ladrón, ajá.
Thief, thief. Yeah.
Thief. ¿Está bien
Sí,
dicho?
sí,
Ah,
sí,
es
sí.
que creo que se cayó. Sí, se cayó,
Okay.
Price se cayó.
Hey, Bryce.
Price down.
Bryce. I think so.
Black Hawk down, Black Hawk down.
Can you hear us? Nice. He's on us.
Nada, se cayó. Sí, o sea, yo veo el juego como algo así, pues como un personaje coleccionista y que el diseño de niveles es una vaina híbrida entre un runner y un exploración o laberinto.
Okay. Look at Bryce. Okay. Hey, Bryce.
No, sí que caído.
Hey, Bryce. Un runner y un qué, como un runner y un y
Híbrido. ¿Híbrido cómo se dice? ¿Hybrid?
hybrid.
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 No, hermano, ya decidí que me
Oh,
voy a meter a mejores clases de inglés.
yeah, but inglés es muy bueno. Hey, Bryce. Can you hear us here? No, I guess it's- Okay. Dale, Germán, avanza y él está escuchando.
Ah, okay. I was talking about the idea for the game, my personal idea, but this personal idea is not just from me or my opinion. This idea I built it up from the interviews for gaming a lot because I game a lot, very a lot. I know a lot of games, uh, and in that way, I think we can make a game, a very beautiful game, of course, with beautiful art. But in this game, flow like no, with two characters. You can choose one of these two characters to play the game. And in the game, uh, do you have no, sorry, eso no es. In the game, you have two ways uh, to play it. Two, I think, dynamics. With the mechanic of the touch. So with this mechanic of touch, point touch, attract and the attraction and the gravity, you can dodge, slide the character to one to avoid bad things like asteroids, I don't know, spikes, bad things, very bad things then you made the game over, made you lose the game, or maybe they did less your speed. Um, that are the bad things, and the good things are like Star Fox. Maybe all of we know Star Fox from Nintendo. 64 de 64. I don't know. Sí, ¿cómo se dice 64? ¿Sí? 64?
64.
Yeah. In Star Fox, you can take or travel or pass around through the gold rings, and these gold rings give you points or give you more speed or give you the opportunity to finish the game. Yeah. So I think the game, or game needs that bad things and good things. The good things bring you more speed, and bad things less your speed to lose the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So in that way, I think we need more about I don't know, maybe for the feel of the game, the feel in the game, and the look. Yes, because we have the possibility, we have the talent to do any beautiful game for girls, for men, for men's, for I don't know, children's, and I don't know how to choose that things, um, and make the game. Yeah, I like to Star Fox. I very love it a lot. Um, I don't know. I don't know if you catch o atrapas the my idea for the game for this mobile project. And I'm forgetting something. A lot around no, ¿cómo es que es? Around a lot. Between the game, uh, I want to take some items, some objects in the travel, like collectibles. No sé si se dirá así, por Dios. Coleccionables. And other
Collectibles.
as collectibles and other special things or objects. Yeah, it's just that. And the objective of the game, uh, I don't know if you focus only in the endless runner, you just want to finish with the best score possible. But I don't want that just that. I want a hybrid with endless labyrinth, adventure or exploration game. And for, o sea, para que because I want the player game in that three phases, three game modes, game types. Yeah. Um, you follow me to here?
I think so.
Okay. Nice to hear you again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry if I talk a lot. I don't know.
No, no.
I'm,
I thought it was. I thought you were explaining yourself really well.
oh,
Um,
thanks.
I guess what I what I still wonder though is, um, it's because some of that was about game mechanics. Some of that sounded like story,
Yeah.
and I think that I I still wonder like I what the core mechanic is. When I look at Tiny Thief, I don't really know that game, but it looks like a platformer.
Yeah,
Um,
but Tiny Thief is not a platformer game. Is amazing because Tiny Thief is an exploration game, touch exploration. You must find the pieces of that puzzle to finish the game. So Tiny Thief have to, for example, hunt a little fish to distract the ward, the bad guy. Yeah, but it's not platformer, and I don't know. It's beautiful, beautiful.
okay, so it's an exploration game where you're navigating around.
Yeah,
How do you move the thief around
with touch,
with touch?
you must touch the place,
Uh-huh.
and the character goes to that point. And
Okay.
in the contextual, you touch again uh, above, I don't know, item or maybe some place to hide, and Tiny Thief interacts with that zone or that object.
Okay. So in a way, um, that's almost kind of like like it gives touch. It makes the touch make more sense, I think,
Yeah,
in that game because you the player are guiding this thief around, right? It's almost like you're controlling him or you're leading him, like
yeah,
he's like a little character, this living thing that you're moving around or causing to do things. It's almost like you're like a god. So you're kind of, like in Clash of Clans, you're kind of like a god. In a lot of RPGs, you're like a
or
you
Or
know,
master puppet.
like exactly like a master and puppet. That's maybe a better metaphor. And I think that uh, that does make sense. I think I understand the game a little bit more. I think that in your game, I think that you have to kind of find that way of making the touch have more purpose, you
Yeah.
know, to make your character, like it has to, the game mechanics that you want to create need to work that way, need to give the touch more purpose. And if collecting is like an important mechanic to you, when collecting is fine, I think it can be fine. You just have to figure out how to make the collecting challenging,
Yeah.
you know. And why are you collecting? Like in Tiny Thief, I imagine, like I haven't played it yet, but I imagine you collect things to use them, right?
Yeah.
To use them to build the puzzles or complete puzzles, or solve puzzles.
Yeah.
But I think you want to do that in your game too. Like you have to figure out what's going to be fun in our game to what would make collecting fun. So like Pac-Man collects things, but he just eats them just to complete the maze, you know. So like I think that what is that it doesn't seem like that's what you want to do. You don't want to just have your character collecting to survive or just to eat, you know. You want to have the collecting mean something, you know. So I think you have to kind of figure all that out, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Esteban is in the conversation, and Esteban is he's from the team of developers.
Uh-huh.
He made the test, the three tests for the three mechanics.
Okay.
The first one was the endless, the second one labyrinth, and the third one the second labyrinth and the third one adventure.
Okay.
Esteban, no sé si le explicas más o menos qué hiciste en la programación de las mecánicas que probamos hoy, o no sé. O quiénes están en la oficina con la cuenta de Esteban.
Esteban?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I'm a little bossy here in the office. Did you see the mechanics? The way you play the mechanics?
I saw Andres playing the game.
Yeah,
So I saw him playing the game. I could see what it, you know, that he was guiding the character around with touch. Yeah.
Yes. But I don't know. What do you think about the mechanics? We were making a. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes. We was playing the mechanics last day, and some people just find it hard to play, or was not. I don't know the word. Was not.
Price.
Yeah.
Was
Just
not easy, maybe.
Yeah,
to play.
yeah. To play. Can you see my window now?
Yep. Yeah, I see it.
See? Okay. I'm opening my Photoshop. We are trying with Stern to create I don't know how to call this, maybe a flow for the level. Yeah.
A what?
So,
I didn't understand.
A flow or
Okay.
flow, yeah, or I don't know, it's soft way. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Can you see this?
I don't
Graphic?
see it right now. No.
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 I think
No se mira, hermano.
¿No se ve? ¿Qué
No.
están viendo ahora?
Nada, tu avatar.
¿Tú qué?
Tu avatar, tu muñequito.
Espérate. Wait a second. I don't know why the...
Yeah, I saw this a little while ago, but I don't see it now. No. Oh, I see it now. I see your screen now.
Okay. What are you seeing now?
I see. It looked like, was that Photoshop? And I see some flow or some diagrams, like sketches.
Oh, okay. Beautiful. For the level, for the flow of the level, or maybe the travel, the trace,
Right.
We have in this moment the character. So
Uh-huh.
this main character have to travel around the game, so around the level, find items, find their maybe her quest or their quest or their mission,
Mm-hmm.
and in some specific moment, he can travel to the second plane or second stage
Mm-hmm.
in the same level. So, for example, you can see here the character have to go into this X point, travel to the second layer, and in this second layer in have to go to this second point, and so this is the game flow. This game flow applies to any of the other options, like runner, or maybe for the exploration game like the labyrinth. What do you think about these sketches, or maybe about this? I don't know. Game flow. Game flow. I don't know. Is that the correct word for that?
I'm not entirely sure what these are showing. Um, that these just show how you advance from level to level. Like you have to reach a point, and
Yeah.
then you move to you're in the same level, but you move to a different place in that level. Is that what it's showing, or?
Yeah. 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 Like Rayman Origins. Maybe you know like Rayman Origins.
Uh-huh.
They have that like I don't know the
Oh, okay, like Rayman. Okay, got it. Oh,
Rayman. Yes.
I think I understand that a little bit better. Like no, because I play Rayman and I like that's a good game. So I think I get
Yeah.
it. What I wonder about is, so I think that that's fine. What this has
Hmm.
nothing to do with the mechanics though.
No.
No, not
But
really.
what do you want? To focus in the mechanics, or to focus in the level flow? In the
Oh,
me- in the
oh,
me- in
the
the me-
mechanics are way more important.
Okay.
Yeah, way more. Like the level flow doesn't matter. Like you'll figure that out. I mean, you'll there are probably different ways you could execute the level flow, and
Okay.
you'll find the right one. But the most important thing is to figure out what's the fun moment to moment experience your player is going to have. And I think that's by figuring out the mechanics. But I would, yeah, I don't, the level flow doesn't matter at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not right now. It matters eventually, but it doesn't. It's not nearly as important as your mechanics.
Okay. Mm, I'm trying to find uh, a document with that explanation of the mechanic, but I can't find him.
Hey, I just had an idea. Can I tell you?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
I was thinking about your mechanic, and you because collecting, like, I think it's important. I think I wrote in the document I gave you guys last week that there's just the term. It's good to, like, when your mechanics can do different things, right? Like you can do, if you can get one mechanic that can sometimes be two mechanics, or like you can get multiple purposes out of something.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that maybe if you're collecting, maybe you actually use the collecting to fuel your movement. So maybe you can't, like if you collect, I don't know what you collect in the level. Maybe you collect like some sort of energy or something like that. But then
Yeah.
that's how you fire a rocket or move around the level. Maybe your pig, or your character has a jetpack, or your robot has some sort of jetpack or jets, and then like they collect that stuff and then they fire it. But when it's gone, they can't move anymore, or they can only float. They move in the same
Okay.
direction, and eventually they would run into an asteroid and they would die. But like, so you want to try to, the challenge is to keep moving around collecting things so that you can get to the checkpoint and get out. I don't know, that was just an idea I had.
Maybe with air is in the space, so the character needs oxygen. Oxygen. I don't know if that.
Uh-huh.
oxygen, like
Yeah.
pipes of oxygen,
Uh-huh.
and he has to travel around the level to get that and the other items, of course.
Right. But
Yeah.
and maybe did you see that movie what was that movie that was about space that came out a little while ago?
Gravity?
Gravity, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember she used the
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 station.
the fire extinguisher,
Ah, yeah, of course.
you know.
Like Wally, like Wally
Yeah,
things.
that's right. Wally did that too.
Yeah.
Maybe your character could use the oxygen tanks to move, but like of course if he uses all the oxygen, he'll die. So he has to be careful. You have to conserve oxygen. So you need it for movement, but you also need it to breathe. So it becomes this dual mechanic, this thing, you know. I don't know. That was just like one idea I had. What was? Have you seen that game Osmos?
Osmos
Yeah,
sounds for me, but I don't remember the game. Maybe Andres?
I'm putting it in so
Oh, Osmos. I remember Osmos, of course. A very
yeah,
beautiful game.
yeah. So it like you're like a cell and you shoot off parts of yourself, and the idea is to get as big as you can. So um you're trying to eat other things while you're firing off pieces of yourself. So you eat other things to get bigger, and you can only eat things that are smaller than you. If and then ultimately bigger things are trying to eat you. So you're kind of firing off pieces of yourself to move around. So there's this kind of balance you have to do where you're balancing, you know, your movement versus your consumption and you're avoiding, so it's kind of
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant game in that regard.
So you're looking for very different mechanic for this game. You're looking for something is not no maybe yet in the market of games. I
Um,
think that.
I for your game, I guess what I'm looking for is what's the challenge.
What is the challenge? Okay, okay.
Yeah, like it's I want to know what's the challenge, what's going to be fun, what do you think is fun, and I don't and what are you trying, what do you want the player to do, what do you want them to accomplish, and I think it should be more than just navigating around the screen. There should be a reason
Yeah,
why, and there should
a
be
reason.
something fun and and challenging about navigating around the screen. So like, why do I want to do this? Why do I want to play this? Like I said, think about it. I mean, when you were a boy, what kind of toys did you play with? You know,
Yeah,
so I think that think about it from a child's perspective, and because I think that's a thing when game designers think about things. I think you should think about what a child would do. They would want to like. What would be fun to do? I mean, what do you push the character around screen? That could be fun. I mean, do you when you fly around and collect something, you get to fly some more. That can be fun. Are you racing? Are things trying to I imagine that asteroids are moving around. Like I don't know. I think I'm losing my point now, but like I think that's the thing is just to focus on try to figure out what's going to be fun.
yeah. And I understand you.
Okay.
Um, I have another question, Price. So the game designer have the last word to make that decisions? For example, what is the fun in the game? Or who has the last word or the last decisions?
It I mean the fun probably should be the game designer, but it depends on the team. I
Of
mean,
course.
typically the game designers have that last word, and they're the ones who usually are most responsible for making the game fun. So
Yeah.
they make that call. I don't know what your team is like, but I think the person, yes, the person who's really focused on the fun, should make the decision about what's fun. Now, I've seen teams where, somebody who wasn't the game designer had a really good idea for what would be fun, and they said,
Yeah,
I think it should be this. Like,
that is possible too, of course.
yeah, so like it could be an animator, like on God of War. The guy who was the main animator, he ended up becoming the lead game designer because he had the best idea for making that game better. So he turned into the game designer, even though he was an animator. Um, so it just depends on your team. It depends on everybody's skills, but ultimately, so everybody really should be giving their opinion about what's fun. But I think ultimately the game designer's job is to figure out how to make the game fun.
Okay, okay. We don't have that specific profile in this moment because we are two doing that, maybe three,
Okay.
doing that work, that job.
Okay.
Um, in this moment are Camilo, Andres, and me. We have two Andres, Andres and Andres Arias. Officially, Andres Arias is the game designer, but he can't work in this moment. Uh, I don't know. He's maybe bossy. I don't know.
Hmm.
But this part of the game design is very crucial, very critical. I don't know. Um, no sé, Andrés, Absolute, ¿qué piensas de todo esto? ¿O qué piensan los demás que están en la oficina?
I had another idea. Can I tell you?
Of course, of course.
So, what if another thing I think that's fun, or I think is fun, like what if they weren't asteroids, but like maybe they were like giant magnets, and maybe your character like uses magnetism to push off, like repel or attract himself to these objects. So like maybe if you have like maybe you collect magnets through the level, you're moving around, you're floating, you collect magnets, and if you have like a negative magnet, you can only connect to a positive, asteroid, so then you can pull yourself to a positive asteroid. But if you have, if you try to pull yourself, you can also push yourself away from another negative asteroid. Maybe the asteroids have big negative lines on them or positive symbols on them. So like sometimes you'll push away from a positive, and sometimes you'll pull yourself to a negative, or something like that. And it's like, that's the game. It's like moving around by attracting, pushing, and using magnetism. I don't know. It's just that
Yeah.
was.
And that is a very practical and beautiful idea. In the beginning of the game design, Absolute Andres, the nickname of Andres is Absolute. Absolute design, Absolute explain idea like that, like the positive and negative points in the level.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And it's good. It's good because you get the same idea, and that is a very good thing.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I think that would be. I know. I great minds think alike. I think that would be. I think that would be could be fun. Depending on
Yeah.
how you execute it. But it seems like it could be. I don't. I can't. I imagine there might be some games that do that, but I haven't really seen one.
Yeah.
So you might want to try that out. So yeah, you touch on like a a negative magnet. You cause your character to react appropriately or something. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolute, ¿estás ahí? Sí. ¿No tienes micrófono? No. Okay. Esteban Salazar is asking for how to make more attractive the mechanic, because in this moment the mechanic we have is very difficult. It's very hard to play.
Yes, it's quite hard to play with that mechanic.
But I don't know. Maybe I think is I don't know. It's maybe because the touch the opposite touch is the has a little collider, and the collider may does to I don't know. Luis, ¿estás ahí? No, Luis. Ah, no,
Sí,
sí,
acá
Luis
estoy,
está.
acá estoy, acá estoy, acá estoy.
Luis, es que en este momento la mecánica que nosotros probamos tiene un problema. Que cuando tocamos, el personaje llega hasta ese punto, pero colisiona. Ese es como el inconveniente. ¿Cierto, Esteban? ¿O que vos lo
Sí,
encontraste también?
¿Cómo
¿Qué
fue?
piensas
yo me refiero es a la forma de jugarlo. O sea, lo
a
que
la
les
forma de
decía.
jugarlo?
Y por ejemplo, es muy complicado estar tocando como en tantos puntos. A mí a veces me decían que le diera más velocidad. O sea, la gente no entiende bien cómo funciona, ¿sí me entiendes? O
Oh,
sea,
okay, okay. Ya, listo. Bryce, what do you think about? I have. Sorry. Can you see my window now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I I will do a very fast sketch in my window. Um, fast Photoshop. Fast. 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 Mm. Okay. I have. En Luis, dile por favor a Price que yo observé en las entrevistas que los usuarios hacían este movimiento.
Oh, what he's saying is that what they saw on the tests is that the users did what movement? What movement?
Price, in this morning with the test and with the interviews, I noticed. I don't know if
Notice.
notice. I
Yeah.
noticed a little thing, very common, very I don't know, very intuitive. Um, my partners do this. For example, this is the level. This is the
Oh,
test.
yeah.
Imagine that, and they touch. Just, but just don't. They just don't touch. Just here. Yeah, touch.
Okay.
So they do that. One touch? No, they don't that. Just one touch. They do a slide like slide your finger.
swipe
Oh,
the
a
finger.
swipe. A swipe.
Swipe. Ah,
Yeah.
swipe. Sorry.
Yeah.
They swipe the touch to move the character. Of course, with the mechanic don't have that
Function. It doesn't
that
have that
function.
functionality.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's frustrating. But all of them, maybe I don't know, 100.
All did that. They all did that.
There were 100% of the people test the game
Yeah.
do that. I don't know if maybe that is a signal to make a very
That-
intuitive mechanic. Because because we are focusing more in the background maybe or in the dynamics for this mechanic. But I don't know. What do you think about this?
I think that so that's really a control thing.
Okay.
I think that it's more about controls, and I think that controls are in the service of gameplay and not the other way around. Like, I
Yeah.
think that you have to decide what is the game, what is the challenge, and then make the appropriate control scheme. I think the reason people did that maybe is one. I think it's something satisfying to do. I think when people see a character on screen, they kind of like swiping feels good. You know, we had the same sort of things we had to figure out on Drive Me Bananas. You know, and like we ultimately went with a swipe because swipe felt better than just touching. Touching just doesn't feel it's not as fun. It's not as fun to just touch the screen as it is to swipe, right? So I think people feel like more in control of something if they're swiping. You know, I think people think that if I like a swipe, it means I'm moving this thing. It's an instinctive thing, right?
You're
But
right.
but the mechanic, the control mechanic, has to make sense for your game. And I think that I wouldn't get too caught up or put too much importance on how
Okay.
people control the character right now, because the main thing to figure out is why are you moving around the screen in the first place, you know.
Okay.
And I think right now I don't understand why you're moving around the screen, so it doesn't really matter what the controls are.
Okay. Right. Sorry. Excuse me. You have do you have any ideas for who or no who no for why we go to move this character around this scenario, this zone area? I don't know.
For
What
why?
for why? I think that depends. Mm, Depends in the history, in the background of the game, or not. Like the story I told you in the beginning, like the collector player, character collector player, like Wally, and he want to find items and objects because he's a hunter, a bounty hunter. I don't know.
Or he's a collector, but no, so it's not about the story.
Okay.
It's about the mechanics. It's about what's fun to do when I say why are you moving. So let's take the magnets. I'm not attached to that. It just, it's just an idea. But let's just take that. Like, so with the magnets, I think it's fun to potentially move your character by using magnets, right? Like,
Price.
¿No? Germán,
¿Sí?
no, yo le pregunto unas cosas a él sobre el movimiento del personaje como tal.
Ah, dale, dale. Pero creo que se cayó Price. O ahí está. ¿Price?
¿Right?
No, se cayó.
No. O sea, la cuestión es saber si...
Hello?
Hello. Hello, Price. You're
Hey.
down again.
Okay. So I was saying that in with the magnets, it's not you really controlling the character. It's the magnets that are pulling the character, and that could be fun, right? So that's why the character's moving around the screen, is because it's fun to pull a character around the screen by using magnets. Like in Angry Birds, nobody cares whether they're killing pigs or not. It's just fun to shoot a bird in a catapult and have it knock something down. That the story doesn't matter. It's more about, it's just fun to launch these birds, or launch an object. It's just launching some sort of object, physics object, that hits some other physics object and something happens. So it's like a little experiment, that happens. It's a little physics experiment, and that is satisfying. So I think that's why somebody would play your game, is like, what's going to be satisfying to do in terms of moving a character around a screen. And right now, you haven't found that satisfying. You haven't found the hook. It's like a song. You haven't found the hook yet. Like, what's going to be satisfying to do in your game, and that's what you have to figure out. And I think that, in some games it's jumping, in some games it's shooting catapults. In your game, it might be,
Gosh.
I'm not sure, but I think you have to find that thing.
Okay. I have some ideas for that.
Price?
Okay.
And Price, Esteban want to ask you something?
Okay. What's up?
Price, the actual mechanic of the game, when you put your finger on the screen, what it's doing is generating a magnet. So the character is going to that point. So if more your finger is near to the character, is more the force that is applied to it. But if you are away from the character, you feel the force not too big. So I think in this way the people don't feel that they are controlling the character.
Right.
Because you are actually not controlling the character. You are making a point where the character should go. but the character itself is not controlling the people.
Right.
I don't know if you understand me.
No, I totally understand that, and I so in Tiny Thief, I think I understand with that game, um, why touching a point and moving the character to that point makes sense. Just like in Clash of Clans, touching a point will move your barbarians to a place. Like that makes sense. In your game, I don't understand totally why you want to create like a gravity point to attract your character. It doesn't really seem to make as much sense in your game.
Maybe yes, because it's supposed that the character is in the space and that thing, but I think for the users it's not too
Too intuitive.
intuitive. I don't know.
Yeah, because I think because I think all those things have to work together in a
Yeah.
player's mind. Like a player has to understand the logic of why would yes, I get that you're in space and you want to create some sort of gravity, but I don't think that like that doesn't seem to make that much sense, I think. And
Yeah.
it doesn't seem that satisfying. One thing I had this example, I just thought of it and I lost it. I think that what was it? So that like touching things just really is not as satisfying unless there's a really good reason why you simply touch them. Like people want to swipe, because it just feels better, I think. So, I think you have to that's what you have to, I think, make a decision about is like why is touching or using gravity to attract your character to a point, why is that important to you?
Or a reason, a very good reason to attract the character for one place to other place.
Yeah.
Mm, creepy silence.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with the silence, but I thought you were thinking of something.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I mean, or what you could do is like if you touch the screen and the player sees something immediately happen when you touch the screen besides the character moving towards you, maybe there's some icon that appears. Like maybe there's some sort of waves that come out from your finger when you touch the screen that let you know, oh, there's gravity happening, or there's an arrow, or a big magnet appears, or something like that, so that they get this sense that they're doing something. I think if they're just touching the screen and the character's moving toward that point, it probably feels a little boring. They're kind of like, well,
Yeah.
this doesn't feel good.
I have an old idea for that. And is this one. I have, for example, my character is a duck, a space duck. Yeah, this is my space duck. And my space duck love for example, the candies, the sugar things, and sweet. And when I touch the screen, I create a candy. I create like this magnet, but in other visual way, like Candy Crush, like yeah, maybe. For example, a monkey likes bananas, so if this are a monkey, my monkey want to go to that banana. What do you think about that? That fix the problem, or I'm grown. I'm grown.
Se fueron todos.
Sí.
Yo no te entendí muy bien, no te entendimos muy bien acá.
Ahí, ¿quiénes están viendo?
Estamos Jainer y Eduardo y yo.
Listo. Es que se me ocurre lo siguiente. Que por ejemplo el personaje, sea el que sea, digamos puede ser una rata espacial o un mutante espacial, no sé, no importa. Se siente atraído por las cosas que le pone. Eduardo alguna vez me mostró un juego donde tenía que comer ovejas. Y hay otro juego, no me acuerdo cuál era, bueno. Pero lo que se me ocurre es que vos pongas un objeto, un punto, por ejemplo un dulce, ¿cierto? Y ese dulce o ese objeto, puede ser oro o yo qué sé, atraiga al personaje y por eso tengas que moverlo, ¿ya? Y a eso ya pues las dinámicas, incluirle por ejemplo que haya un objeto, por ejemplo como un asteroide, que sea algo que, que lo repele, por ejemplo. Entonces él trata de comerse el dulce y pum, lo repele. ¿Ya? Y eso justificaría la acción actual que tenemos de que él se choque contra ese objeto. Podría ser, por ejemplo, que él se choque y esté ahí como tratando de comérselo. Lo lama y lo lama y lo lama y no se lo coma. Como esos dulces de Ed, Ed, Ed y Eddie. ¿Han visto esa serie? Que son unos dulces redondos.
Ah, sí, sí.
¿Sí? Sí, pues me imagino algo así, pues que él quiere comerse el dulce, lo persigue, pero no se lo puede comer.
Hello?
Hasta que le pongas
Hello.
otro. Hello,
Hello.
Hello.
you down again. Price?
Yeah.
You hear the idea?
Okay. No, I didn't hear your idea. What's your idea?
In this moment, when you touch the screen, can you see my window?
Yeah, I can see it.
My blue window. Okay. When in this moment, when you touch the screen, the program produce or generate colliders. Yeah, a little object.
A magnet.
I think a magnet. Yeah, a magnet.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think my idea is we have a character like, for example, it's just as an example, a monkey, and this monkey loves bananas. So when I touch the screen, I create that banana, that love thing, and the character wants to go to that object and eat it. And I don't know, maybe with that we can produce a more attractive mechanic. What do you think?
So, okay, so you would get rid of the gravity thing, and maybe you would have a monkey swinging in trees and running.
Yeah, but like a zombie monkey, because you can't control the monkey because the monkey is hungry. Yeah,
Right.
and for that reason we can control it, and he just get attracted for this force. In this case, visually, is just a banana or maybe a candy or maybe a chocolate.
Okay. That could be cool, but why? So it's like kind of like sounds like Tiny Thief in a way that maybe you're moving the monkey to a point on screen, or why
no.
are you? So okay, what's the challenge again? Like what's the challenge? Are you trying to get the monkey from place to place?
Yeah. For example, I don't know, the monkey is lost in the space. Yeah, and you are trying to help the monkey to find his home, her home.
Okay.
I don't know.
So that's where I guess I'm trying, like, to get you, because you're thinking more in terms of story. And
Yeah,
so,
all
like,
the time.
how do you turn that into game mechanic, right? So when you say lost, that means to me that the game mechanic there is a maze, or a level that where the characters kind of needs to navigate through a maze, basically an obstacle course. You know,
Yeah.
so maybe the monkey, so the levels are kind of confusing, I guess. The monkey's lost in the level, so you have to get the monkey to go around some obstacles or find his way out of a maze, right? So,
Yeah.
and the level's like a puzzle. That's what I was trying to say. Like your level's more like a puzzle.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, oh, okay. You have to look at the maze and try to figure out the level puzzle, figure out how do I get from point A to B, and so you use the banana to attract the monkey, But okay, it's like, well, why are you using a banana? Like, why aren't you just moving the monkey? People would probably rather just control the monkey, right? But so there you have to give a reason for using an attraction mechanic, right? You have to have a reason for that. So maybe there's some other additional thing. Maybe there's certain places you can't use a banana, You know, so it offers this additional challenge in the game. You know, but
Oh, yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? So it's kind of like you have
Yeah.
to decide why you're doing this, why this banana. Otherwise, I would just make the game more about just like level puzzles. Um,
I don't I don't know ¿qué piensa el resto del equipo? What did the rest of my teammates think about this? Esteban, Eduardo, Andrés, que
La verdad yo sigo sin entender bien cuál es la mecánica que estás proponiendo.
claro, no, o sea, todavía no, como tal no es una mecánica, eso es lo que menciona Price,
¿Necesitan?
pero no sé. Mm,
No, tampoco sé.
o sea, es por ejemplo que lo que yo estoy planteando es por ejemplo que el monkey, el mono, tenga que ir a recoger una banana, ¿cierto?
Ujú.
Pero hay lugares donde no puede recoger la banana por más que la pongas, porque por ejemplo hay una pared, ¿ya? Entonces, con eso generar una mecánica que sea atractiva para el jugador.
Pero ahí no estaríamos cambiando el juego. Es que no entiendo.
Mm, no, estaríamos como dándole un uso correcto a la mecánica que tenemos actualmente del punto de atracción, del punto magnético, pues.
Ya te entiendo.
¿Ya?
La mecánica no se puede cambiar.
¿Cómo?
Igual la mecánica se la puede cambiar.
Sí, pero no sé, no sé.
Yo tampoco.
Mm,
I'm trying to think of like why you would place or so there's two things you could also do or something else you could also do with the banana mechanic. You could place the bananas before the level starts, you know, and then kind of get the monkey to follow the points. Luis was actually working on a game called Lead the Way that was kind of like that, where you lead a character around the level by like kind of creating a path. There's also so that you know so that's one thing you could do. You could, you could also like
Es que no es intuitivo. ¿Y por qué se agregó el...
maybe the monkey's eating the bananas too quickly or faster. You know, you're trying to place the bananas down as quickly as possible before the monkey catches up to you. You know, and like the point of the challenge is to feed the monkey, lead him out of this maze, but have him not catch you. You know, as you're placing the bananas. You know, you don't want him to catch up to your finger. So it's like a runner, and he's trying to. I don't know. That's not the greatest idea, but I was just thinking.
yeah. It's just example.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
I kind of like your space mechanic. I just think, I think, the attraction has to. I think you have to give it something cooler. It just has to be cooler, basically.
Yeah, more cooler,
Yeah.
more amazing to play.
Right. I mean, and like, I think if you find something cooler, it'll help you polish the mechanics till they become amazing to play. You know, I don't think you can start with something that's kind of like boring and just make it feel really good by polishing the mechanics. That doesn't mean that you're eventually going to get to a really fun game. I think you want to come up with like an interesting challenge, and then the controls will probably not work great for a while, but then, once they
No, se cayó Price otra vez, Luis.
Sí, eso veo. ¿Cómo va la cosa?
Pero mira que es muy interesante, este tema me acaba de abrir la mente porque, o sea, te hace como pensar más allá de lo que podría ser la mecánica.
Sí.
Entonces,
sí.
él habla, por ejemplo, de poner las bananas antes de poner el nivel, o sea, antes de que se genere el nivel. Y eso es interesante.
Sí, total. Sí,
Sí, es como buscar un reto interesante. Aquí lo apunté, pues ahí se ve.
con él duramos 2 meses tratando de definir Rugby Bananas y nunca nos referenciamos en un Endless Runner, solo llegamos al Endless Runner como por los intentos y un experimento bastante interesante, un poco frustrante, pero interesante.
Sí, sí, pero estoy pensando bastante.
Hey Bryce, Bryce.
Esta asesoría hasta qué horas va o qué?
Ya estamos pasados, creo que tocaba
¿Sí?
finalizar.
Ah, pero no hay problema o es tenemos tiempo
Eh,
limitado. ¿Cómo es ahí?
Pues yo tengo que irme en 5 minutos, tengo que hacer otra cosa, no sé si Price pues, da un poco más de tiempo, depende de él.
Ah, yo pensé que nosotros teníamos
Hello?
algo. Hello, Bryce.
Hey, what are you talking about?
No, just things.
I'm talking about the mechanics.
Oh, got it. My Spanish isn't very good.
Oh, but you can learn Spanish with us. For me, it's with pleasure to teach you some Spanish.
I would love to learn some Spanish.
Okay. We was talking about the mechanic, how to make this mechanic more interesting, more challenging to the player, and that concept opens my mind in this moment. I just tired, but I want to still. I want to. I don't know. I want to stay thinking about how to fix that challenging thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Yeah. I think it's also about a lot of testing, right?
Yeah. You know, it could also be fun. I think is maybe it's not about attracting. Maybe that's the wrong mechanic. You know, maybe it's about launching the player around. Like I don't know how good you guys are at physics. You know, doing physics programming. Maybe it's because that's always kind of challenging.
Yeah.
But like I was just thinking, maybe you're trying to, you know, maybe these asteroids are moving around, right? And you're like, let me see, maybe I can draw it. And maybe you have to launch your character at the right time, like a pinball, off of these moving asteroids to get to the right place. So it has to hit the, you know, even though the asteroids are moving, you're trying to hit them at the right time so they can get to the right point on screen.
Bryce, I don't know. I I have a lot of ideas in every moment. In this moment, I have a new idea. If, for example, with the launch, what happens is if you launch the character, but the objective of the challenging is not about the asteroids or the obstacles. The challenging is to crash, to hit the objects, and when you hit more objects, more points or more engagement. I don't know. What do you think about that idea?
So that'd be kind of like pinball almost.
Yeah, like pinball, but in the pinball you hit ¿cómo se dice rebotar, Luis?
Ricochet, bounce, bounce.
Like in the pinball, sí, uno rebota.
Ricochet, right?
Yeah.
But in this idea, you just cross inside the asteroid, for example, or inside the object, and you continue with the force con la fuerza del comienzo, ¿cómo se puede decir eso? Con la fuerza con que se lanzó.
With the strength that it was launched.
Yeah.
So the thing in pinball, the challenge though is to do all of that and not to fall out of the play field, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to go into the gutter. just like there has to be a challenge. So I think that if you're bouncing around the screen, is there some place you don't want to go?
Mhm.
Um, you know, like
Or maybe you don't want to hit the bad things. For example, objects in paper materials or iron materials or I don't know glass material. And if you hit the glass, of course you pass or throw the object. But if you hit iron or metallic material, you can pass throw that object. I don't know. Maybe we can use that.
hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe it's not much challenging. Mm,
Huh. Yeah, I don't. That doesn't. I don't. I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Um, I was trying to think of a way you could prototype this on paper first.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like maybe with dice, you could come up with a challenge, and like maybe if you roll a certain number, that would determine whether or not you performed a certain mechanic.
yeah,
And then like maybe that's a way of like helping you think more about the actual mechanics of I think sometimes when people think just purely in terms of video games or making something on screen, they think about the visuals a lot and kind of they stop thinking about the mechanics. Um,
yeah.
so I mean, maybe you could try to prototype it on paper, but I think you need to
Okay.
come up with a fun challenge, uh, something fun to do. Like I remember actually, Luis and I worked on a game like a few years ago together that I thought was going to be really fun, and it ended up not being very fun.
Oh, the tank one.
It's called Pinball Tanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we had this
What?
pinball tanks, and I thought, oh, it's gonna be great because I like the
Seriously?
idea of ricocheting thing. Like I think ricocheting's cool. The only problem was like it either has to be a tank game or it has to be a ricocheting game, right? They ended up competing.
All
So,
right.
so it seemed like it was like, oh, this isn't the greatest, like I mean, or I mean, it either had to be a tank game or a pinball game. Like that's what I mean. Like the problem was, like the reason I came with the idea, or way I came with the idea, there's this game on the Wii called Tanks, right? It's this you control these little tanks, like little
Yeah.
toy tanks, and when you move through the levels, you can ricochet their shots off the wall, and you can hit your enemy tanks by shooting around corners using ricochets. And so I thought it might be cool to make a pinball game like that. Maybe if you had a tank that could shoot a pinball, I thought that could be fun. But the problem was, I was like, pinball's fun, and tank games are fun, but not necessarily the two of those together. So it's like that's what the challenge was.
Okay.
So I think you want
Mm,
to decide. You want to figure out like is what you're making pinball? Then that means one thing. If what you're making is about moving a character around a screen, in some fun way, that's a different thing. But don't get it too confused or too complex.
okay.
Yeah.
Mm, mm, I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel that the idea is still in the air, still in the cloud,
Yeah.
in the clouds. We must land the idea in the earth.
Well, let me ask you real quickly because I have to go in a little bit. But
Yeah, me too.
what do you like? What do you like to do? Like, what do your in your terms of your games in this game? What kind of things satisfy you the most, mechanic wise?
Mm, find things,
Finding.
explore and explore. I love the games when when you have no when games uh, for exploration. For example, I love Tiny Thief because in Tiny Thief you want to know the next level. You want to know more about that character, and I don't know, but, and that is a game like exploration game, or you want to find things, and it's not a action game. It's not. I don't know.
Okay.
For me,
Um,
it's fun. For me, that is fun. Uh, I don't care if I don't care if the game is slow, is slow, or maybe it's fast. I don't care. I just want to know more things. I want to see more things, and I want to know more about that world, that universe, and get something for that game. For example, to get more information about the collectibles, or maybe ¿cómo se dicen valores y atributos, Luis? Valores como decir la valentía, el respeto, el honor, aprender sobre esas cosas. ¿Cómo se dice? No, Luis se fue.
Luis?
No, Luis está ahí, está muteado.
No está.
Sí, pienso que esos son juegos interesantes. They are interesting games. But for example, Absolute, he likes more the games, the action games, very fast games, action games.
Okay.
But that is just personal. And for this game, I am trying to design some hybrid with fast and slow things. Slow things to think, to move, to explore, to catch some occult or secret information. For example, Fez. You know Fez?
What's it called?
Fez in the indie games
Oh,
thing.
Fez. Yeah, I've heard of it, but I never played it.
It's very amazing because visually it's very interesting, and inside the game you is I don't know is very big. You must go in every stage, every level, every zone to get more puzzles, to get more information, and the puzzles are 3D, full 3D.
Okay. I'm doing a little sketch.
Okay. Can you share your window
Let me
if
see
you
if I
want?
can share my screen. Um,
I'm closing my Photoshop window right now. Hey, I can hear my voice, and it's sexy.
can you hear? Can you see it? Can you see my screen?
No.
No yet,
Not yet.
not yet.
Uh,
No, not yet.
Share. Can you can you see it now?
No.
Mm,
No yet.
Okay. Oh, let me see. I'm not sure. Let me see. No?
no. It is in the left side, the small icon, monitor icon, green, share window. No works for you?
Hello?
No.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me try
And now
that.
we have two prices. What explore program? Ah, okay. Now
I saw.
yeah, we saw for a second.
Yeah.
Do you see it now?
No,
No.
what explore program are you using?
I'm using I'm I'm using Photoshop.
Yeah.
But
You can see now.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
using Chrome.
Chrome. Yeah, you need Chrome. We are going. I'm seeing two guys. Oh no, it's
Yeah.
the same guy jumping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so the idea is that maybe they're like like the undersea explorer. Maybe instead
Yeah.
of space, it's like an undersea explorer. and like this level. Hold on, give me a sec. I gotta. This is supposed to be like a big maze, basically.
Yeah.
And maybe you have to get to this higher platform up here, and here's your prize or something like that. But maybe you can use your oxygen to like launch yourself and move your I'm trying to think this through. Maybe you move your guy around the screen. Maybe you guide your player around the screen by touching things, like and making sounds. And you know, like how underwater sound travels better. Maybe he's in a really big. Let's see. These levels are really big.
That is a very good idea. And what's your initial first idea in this?
You know, yeah, maybe like, you know, you have to go around this really big level.
Yeah.
You know, or something like that. And then
I like it. And you must use the oxygen to jump and to finish the level, right? Price is down again. Luis, ¿estás ahí todavía?
Sí, acá estoy.
Sí, yo me tengo que ir en un ratico ya, pero
Yo creo que ya acabamos.
Sí, yo también.
al menos ya tenemos una idea más clara de lo que hay que lograr con el juego.
Okay. Sí, I think. ¿No?
¿Vos cómo te contactas con Price? ¿Por Skype o por Facebook o cómo haces?
Por Skype y por correo.
Sí, regálame el dato del hombre por Skype.
Sí, claro. Okay, Price. I think we can wrap it up. They were asking if you can share maybe your contact info with them.
Creo que Price se cayó. Sí, se cayó.
Un segundo. El correo de Price. Hey, Price.
hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. No, I was saying that I think we can just finish up here, and they were asking if you could share with them your contact information.
Sure. Yeah, we could do that. Let me
Maybe Skype?
yeah. Skype name.
What do you use more for this kind of talks? Friendly.
I use email the most for communication, but if you want to, we could Skype.
Okay. Can I give you my mail, my mailbox for Gmail?
Sure.
I will write it in the chat. Okay, you get.
So just email me and then I'll have it.
Yeah, it's more easy, I think. I think you're a very busy person. Busy person.
Yeah, but I'll respond.
Okay.
Luis and I communicate a lot, so if you, you know,
yeah,
if you could,
I have a Luisi. I have a Luisi.
Yeah, so through me, I can help you through me. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Bryce Jones, Oakland, United States.
All right, guys. So I think we can finish for today and keep in touch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bryce, for the sessions.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bryce was sharing his window bot.
You went down.
With them. But we get that idea, Bryce. Is the same idea like the beginning of the Hangout?
Maybe. Yeah.
With the oxygen, ¿cómo se dice oxígeno? Oxygen.
Yeah, the osmos.
Yeah.
I think it's very funny for Bryce or English.
Your English is much better than my Spanish.
Really? I think my English is very bad, very funny.
Your English is very good.
Yeah, it's a really good English.
I learned my English from games, from music, from casual activities.
Maybe I should play some Spanish games and maybe I'll learn English. I mean, learn Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, works a lot. I think this works a lot. Or movies with subtitles.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Mm, okay.
Cool, man.
Right.
So we finish, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe
Yeah.
you want to say more about your idea, your sharing window?
Oh no. I guess I just I was just looking at it again. I don't really
Okay.
have more to share about it, but I was just thinking like maybe you could. I guess I'll say maybe you could touch the screen somewhere, like you drew the fingerprints,
Yeah.
and you like touch the screen, and that makes your guy go to a place,
Oh, okay.
he tries to get to wherever you're touching, and maybe you have to touch up here to get him to navigate up here,
Sounds good. And
something
that,
like that. So it's kind of more like your Tiny Thief game idea. Or
yeah.
the idea in Tiny Thief, except maybe maybe you add in a different thing, a different mechanic where there's time, the puzzle's timed, and he has to get through the puzzle in a certain amount of time or he drowns. Or maybe there are enemies, maybe there are sharks or something like that, swimming around, and maybe you have to get him to avoid the sharks or something like that by touching. But like when you said that your favorite thing was exploring, that made me think, well, why don't you build your game and make your game more about exploring? Like have an explorer be the main character, and so then that's really your levels then need to be puzzles, and they need to be like mazes, and that's what I was thinking.
Um, I don't push much for the game to that way because it's just my personal opinion, my personal ideas, or my personal likes.
Yeah.
¿Cómo se dice gustos, Luis? Gustos.
Likes.
Likes.
Yeah.
Likes.
No, I understood that. That makes sense. Well, I think you have to, as a team, you have to all decide what your likes are,
Yeah.
and then like everybody has to come together and say, hey, this is what we like, right?
Yeah.
Like teams that like making exploration games are going to make an exploration game, or teams that like making,
Yeah.
a first-person shooter, they're going to make a first-person shooter. So I think you have to decide what kind of game you want to make.
Yeah. In this moment, I'm working in another games with other friends. Indie, same. The whole team is focused in the platformer games or running games, endless runner, and that is good. That no, that is good.
Okay.
So we finish.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Great. Thanks.
So, Bryce, a lot of thanks. In this moment, you open my mind for the game design, for the mechanics, because I don't know, my opinion and my designs for the games are very very traditional. But in this moment, I am opening my mind to other options, other funny things, funny challenges.
Good.
Awesome.
Okay. So yeah, I have to go out. To finish, maybe another moment we can talk about art and concept art and that things.
Okay. Yeah, we could do
Because
that.
because I'm starting in this moment in that things, in that jobs.
Okay. Yeah, get in touch with me. Say you can, send me some questions, or we get Skype and you can ask me questions. That'd
Yeah.
be fine. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect.
And Luis, thanks. Gracias, Luis. Very, very a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you, Luis.
Yeah, of
Thank
course. My
All right.
pleasure. All right.
We really appreciate it this time.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
So bye.
Ciao.
Bye a lot.
Pleasure.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.